Actually, can we go back to the you laying in a room feeling like a loser?
Yeah.
I still feel like a loser sometimes. What can you speak to that feeling, to that place of just like feeling like a loser? And because I think a lot of people in this world are laying in a room right now listening to this
Yeah.
and feeling like a loser,
Okay, so I think it's normal if you're young that you feel like a loser, first of all.
especially when you're 27.
Yes. Yeah, especially.
There's like a peak.
Yeah. Yeah, I think 20 is the peak. And so I would not kill yourself. It's very important. Just get through it, But because you have nothing, you have probably no money, you have no business, you have no job. You like Jordan Peterson said this. I saw it somewhere. Like the reason people are depressed because they have nothing. They don't have a girlfriend. They don't have a or boyfriend. They don't have a. You need stuff. You need like or a family. You need things around you. You need to build a life for yourself. If you don't build a life for yourself, you'll be depressed. So if you're alone in Asia in a hostel, looking at the ceiling, and you don't have any money coming in, you don't have a girlfriend, you don't. Of course, you're depressed. It's logic. But back then, if you're in the moment, you think there's not logic. There's something wrong with me.
Yeah.
And also, I think I started getting like anxiety, and I think I started going a little bit crazy. Where I think travel can make you insane, and I know this because I know that there's like digital nomads that they kill themselves, and I haven't checked like the comparison with like baseline people like suicide rate, but I have a hunch, especially in the beginning when it was a very new thing like 10 years ago, that it can be very psychologically taxing, and you're alone a lot back then when you travel alone. There was no other digital nomads back then a lot, so you're in a strange culture. You look different than everybody. Like I was in Asia. Like everybody's really nice in Thailand, but you're not part of the culture. You're traveling around. You're hopping from city to city. You don't have a home anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You feel disrooted,
and you're constantly an outcast in that you're different from everybody else.
Yes, exactly. But people treat you like Thailand. People are so nice, but you still feel like outcast. And then I think the digital nomads I met then were all kind of like, it was like shady business, But they were like vigilantes because it was a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like one guy was selling illegal drugs. It was an American guy, was selling illegal drugs via UPS to Americans, on his website. There were like a lot of drop shippers doing shady stuff. There's a lot of shady things going on there. And they didn't look like very balanced people. They didn't look like people I wanted to hang with, So I also felt outcast from other foreigners in Thailand, other digital nomads. And I was like, man, I made a big mistake. And then I went back to Holland. And then I got even more depressed.
You said digital nomad. What is digital nomad? What is that way of life? What is the philosophy there? And the history of the movement?
I struck upon it on accident because I was like, I'm going to graduate university and then I need to get out of here. I'll fly to Asia because I've been before in Asia. I studied in Korea in 2009, like study exchange. So I was like, Asia is easy, Thailand's easy. And I'll just go there, figure things out. And it's cheap. It's very cheap. Chiang Mai, I would live like for $150 per month rent for like a private room. Pretty good. So I struck upon this on accident. I was like, okay, there's other people on laptops working on their startup or working remotely. Back then, nobody worked remotely, but they worked on their businesses, right? And they would, live in like Colombia or Thailand or Vietnam or Bali. They would live kind of like in more cheap places. And it looked like a very adventurous life. Like you travel around, you build your business. There's no pressure from like your home society, right? Like you're American, so you get pressure from American society telling you kind of what to do. Like you need to buy a house or you need to do this stuff. I had this in Holland too. And you can get away from this pressure. You can kind of feel like you're free. There's nobody telling you what to do. But that's also why you start feeling like you go crazy because you are free. You're disattached from anything and anybody. You're disattached from your culture. You're disattached from the culture you're probably in because you're staying very short.
I think Franz Kafka said, "I'm free, therefore I'm lost."
Man, that's so true. Yeah, that's exactly the point. And yeah, freedom is like it's the definition of no constraints, right? Like anything is possible. You can go anywhere. And everybody's like, oh, that must be super nice, like freedom, you must be very happy. And it's the opposite. Like, I don't think that makes you happy. I think constraints probably make you happy. And that's a big lesson I learned then.
You quoted Freya Stark, quote, "To awaken quite alone in a strange town is one of the most pleasant sensations in the world."
Yeah.
Do you remember a time you awoken in a strange town and felt like that? We're talking about small towns or big towns or?
Man, anywhere. I think I wrote it in some blog post and like, it was a common thing when you would wake up. And this was like, because I have this website. I started a website about this digital nomads like called nomadlist.com. And it was a community. So it was like 30,000 other digital nomads because I was feeling lonely. So I built this website and I stopped feeling lonely. Like I started organizing meetups and making friends. And it was very common that people would say they would wake up and they would forget where they are.
Yeah.
Like for the first half minute, and I had to look outside, like, where am I? Which country? Which sounds really like privilege, but it's more like funny. Like you literally don't know where you are because you're so disrooted. But there's something, man, it's like Anthony Bourdain, you know? There's something pure about this kind of vagabond travel thing, you know? Like it's behind me, I think. I don't like now I travel with my girlfriend, right? It's very different, but it is a romantic like memories of this kind of like vagabond, individualistic solo life. But the thing is, it didn't make me happy. But it was very cool, but it didn't make me happy, right? It made me anxious.
There's something about it that made you anxious. I don't know. I still feel like that. It's a cool feeling. It's scary at first, but then you realize where you are, I don't know. It's like you awaken to the possibilities of this place when
That's
you
it.
feel like that. It's
That's
like
it.
great, and it's even when you're doing some basic travel. When I
Yeah.
go to San Francisco or something, I'll
Yeah,
feel
you have like the novelty effect. Like you're in a new place. Like here, things are possible. You know, you don't get bored yet, and that's why people get addicted to travel. You know.